In the past 6 years, America's allies, especially European nations, have procured numerous fifth-generation F-35 Lightning II aircraft from the United States. Certain estimates assess the total worth to the U.S. economy at exceeding $1 trillion. The F-35 program generates a minimum of $72 billion in tax revenue for the U.S. economy, supported by 254,000 jobs, employment only. The U.S. president's daily alienation of his closest allies is raising considerable concerns among F-35 operators globally. Could this costly plane become completely ineffectual if one of Trump's erratic foreign policy appointees or Trump himself chooses to disable the advanced systems linked to Lockheed Martin servers in the United States? I am Thomas, a former officer in the Finnish Defense Forces. Today, we will examine why numerous European and Pacific allies of the United States are contemplating their options regarding the exorbitant costs of fifth-generation fighters and other advanced military technology. This consideration arises in light of a U.S. president who appears inclined to transfer F-35 technology to India, which could subsequently lead to its acquisition by Russia and China shortly thereafter. Additionally, Trump's increasingly unpredictable conduct concerning Ukraine places the remainder of the free world in a precarious diplomatic position. The F-35 program, first termed the Joint Strike Fighter program, commenced in the 1990s with the objective of creating a multifunctional, stealthy fighter to supplant various obsolete aircraft within NATO. In the year 2001, Lockheed Martin's X-35 design was chosen above its competitors, resulting in the construction of the F-35 with 3 primary variants: the normal takeoff variant, the short takeoff and vertical landing B variant, and the carrier-based C variant. Since 2019, numerous additional nations have joined the program, resulting in an expected contribution of approximately $60 billion in sales to the program from Europe, so impacting the U.S. economy. The United Kingdom has expended approximately 18 billion euros. Norway and the Netherlands, around 8 billion. Denmark and Belgium, around 4 billion. Greece, around 3 billion. Finland and Italy, around 10 billion. Poland and Switzerland, approximately 5 billion, while Romania recently completed the final European order, amounting to nearly 7 billion. As previously noted in our film regarding the adverse effects on the U.S. economy of losing Europe as a weapons market, which I will link in the description, places such as Texas and Florida generate approximately $40 billion annually from these sales alone. Moreover, this is prior to considering components and assistance from the preceding hearings in the United States Congress. A significant challenge of the F-35 program is the exorbitant maintenance costs of the aircraft, which exhibit a meager operational rate of approximately 30%. The maintenance expense reaches an astonishing 40,000 euros each flight hour, primarily attributable to stealth technology, software complications, and dependability concerns. The bipartisan hearings in the U.S. Congress project that maintaining the U.S. F-35 fleet over its lifespan will incur an astonishing cost of $1.5 trillion. This is a tenfold increase in the total costs of the U.S. F-16 and F-18 projects over their entire 50-year operational lifespan. 2 non-U.S. operators of the F-35, Great Britain and Israel, have received authorization to modify the aircraft's onboard programming, thus eliminating the original avionics and substituting them with their own systems. You may question the rationale behind these modifications. Britain utilized its superior BAE systems to execute minor alterations. Israel advanced its F-35 fleet by significantly modifying the aircraft and integrating whole new electronic systems. The disconcerting aspect of this discovery pertains to the rationale behind these significant alterations, which presents a substantial security risk for other F-35 clients. The F-35 is celebrated for its advanced sensors and avionics. Nevertheless, this very strength has now evolved into a significant security issue. The primary concern for nations other than Israel and the United Kingdom is the continuous connection from the F-35's avionics directly to the United States, which, as evidenced in Ukraine, has established explicit parameters for the utilization of its weaponry. If Finland were to be invaded by Russia, would Donald Trump, who is perceived as favorable towards Putin, permit us to utilize our new jets to strike targets within Russia? The necessity of questioning this alters the entire perspective on the acquisition of the F-35. What actions can Europe and its allies in America undertake about this matter? Initially, I believe that those who have not received their planes in entirety, such as Finland, Switzerland, Britain, Norway, Greece, Canada, and others, will require engaging in difficult discussions with Lockheed Martin. Deliveries must be suspended or alternatively ceased until the Trump administration ceases its antagonistic behavior towards Europe. In a hyper-capitalistic society such as the United States, purchasing power is of significant importance. According to my Air Force acquaintances, the terms and circumstances of the procurement contracts specify certain operational levels. According to remarks made in the U.S. Congress, the F-35 is scarcely capable of achieving a 30% operating rate. This clause may serve as leverage to halt or suspend delivery as a means of soft power. Lockheed's major production facilities in the United States are predominantly located in Republican states, and Europe's purchasing power may potentially precipitate a recession in Trump's stronghold. These orders could exert pressure on Trump's support base. In an economy with a limited number of industrial employment, the loss of an additional 200,000 positions would be detrimental, especially considering that Europe possesses sufficient domestic alternatives for their fighter fleets. Although the F-35 is perhaps the most proficient aircraft in flight, the substantial maintenance expenses and the progression of radar technology in rival jets are increasingly considerations that many operators must acknowledge. In terms of cost, there is no comparison. Estimates from the Netherlands, the United States, and Norway indicate costs ranging from $35,000 to $45,000 per flight hour for the F-35, implying that only after 1,000 flight hours across, for instance, Norway's 50 F-35s, Norway may implement a novel SAMP-T system, inclusive of interceptors. I am not a bureaucrat, but is a stealth fighter with this level of expenditure the appropriate selection when considered in this manner? The Rafale incurs costs of approximately $10,000 to $15,000 each flight hour, but the Gripen costs as little as $4,000 per flight hour. The Eurofighter has a range of $8,000 to $10,000, ensuring that jobs related to parts and maintenance remain in Europe, rather than in Texas, Florida, or other locations where Lockheed manufactures them. A notable problem for the F-35 pertains to the software upgrades, which are crucial for sustaining the aircraft's advanced capabilities. Similar to a Tesla, these enhancements are transmitted remotely through a computer connection from the United States, guaranteeing that each aircraft stays updated with the most recent developments in security features and systems performance. Without these regular updates, operators risk lagging behind, perhaps overlooking vital security enhancements, mission capabilities, and key improvements that maintain the fleet's competitiveness and safeguard it from emerging threats. This reliance on software upgrades underscores the sophisticated nature of the F-35 and the inherent hazards associated with a highly interconnected system. Countries such as Belgium, Finland, Denmark, Poland, Italy, the United Kingdom, Greece, Romania, Switzerland, and the Czech Republic have not yet received substantial portions or the entirety of their orders. Given the current dynamics between Trump and Europe, I am uncertain whether these orders will be fulfilled, particularly in the prevailing political climate. Europe might insist on equivalent treatment for their F-35s as Lockheed Martin has provided to Israel and, to some extent, Great Britain. We might insist that electronics be entirely European, manufactured and regulated by BAE, Saab, Dassault, and Airbus, which possess the expertise to achieve this. With sufficient pressure, I am confident they could replicate the systems implemented by Israel. However, it is uncertain whether Europe possesses the political resolve to engage in such rigorous negotiations. Switzerland has secured an agreement that permits them to manufacture 4 of their 36 jets independently. This type of treatment should also be contemplated for Europe as a whole. Current and prospective operators in Europe and Canada must prioritize these purchases in every discussion with representatives of the U.S. government. Why would Canada, for instance, get combat jets from a nation whose government explicitly threatens it with annexation, as recently as the previous day? In my view, the treatment of the exceptional Canadian aerospace industry in the context of purported commerce with the United States is very disheartening for Canada. In my modest opinion, numerous European nations do not require the F-35. What is fundamentally crucial is a fleet capable of surpassing Russia's premier aircraft. Russia's Air Force performance in Ukraine demonstrates that, even in the initial phases, it struggled to achieve air superiority against a modest yet proficient fleet of Soviet-era aircraft. This indicates that fighters such as the Gripen, Eurofighter, and Rafale provide adequate deterrent. These aircraft can proficiently mitigate Russian threats until the deployment of Europe's sixth-generation fighters in approximately 10 years. The discomfort stemming from any American product, coupled with Trump's conduct, should not be overlooked. I acknowledge that I committed to delivering the naval episode on European capacity this week. Nevertheless, it must be postponed for another week, as I deemed the recent development regarding the F-35 to be of greater significance. The forthcoming film will feature numerous seamen, I assure you. Until then, enjoy a splendid weekend, everyone, and congratulations to Canada for defeating the US in hockey. We were all applauding your efforts.